be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing Bant Turbo URO. This is not a Beanstalk deck. This is a deck where we rely on URO and we rely on Planeswalkers like Narset to take over the game. We are playing this awesome card, which I didn't even know existed until a few hours ago. Planar Genesis. This came out in the new set, Modern Horizons 3, and you can look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land from among them onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't, put a card from among them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is both blue and green. So it's kind of like Growth Spiral. I'm not sure if it's as good as Growth Spiral. You don't gain the life, but it does not trigger Bowmasters because you're putting a card in your hand, which is kind of nice. And the important thing is this is blue and green, as I said. And Endurance is an extremely good card right now because there are a lot of Oops All Spells players. There are a lot of Reanimator players. You'll even find some Dredge players. A lot of people are using their graveyard for things. This is also really good against Blue-Red Delver. So why not try playing this card that pitches to both of these and helps us ramp a little bit slowly, but it gives us card selection and ramp and helps us get URO earlier. Now I'm going the full 4 URO. I'm going the Planar Genesis and the Life from the Loam. And with Endurance, that's 12 green cards in our deck, which I think gives us a reasonable chance of being able to pitch cast Endurance. Like if we have an Endurance in our hand, there's probably like a 70-ish% chance, maybe a 60% chance that we will be able to pitch cast him turn 1, which is nice because Force combined with Endurance just gives you additional ammunition against the turn 0 combo player that's trying to just shred your hand so they can get their spell out there. And Endurance is a great creature that is not vulnerable to Graveyard Disruption. He's not vulnerable to Karakas. So it's going to give you an alternate win con, even if your UROs get surgically extracted or something like that. Life from the Loam allows us to recur Wasteland, which is nice. The mana base is very simple. I do have a basic plains in the sideboard, but almost everything in the deck is blue and green, so I want to just focus on those. It is harder to cast URO when you've got like a plains on the table because it doesn't help with either of the blue or the green mana required for URO to escape. We have Teferi's and 1 of. Narset as a 3 of. A lot of people are asking whether this is really good when Bowmasters is everywhere. I think this is the juice is worth the squeeze for this card in the situation where you're up against, say, Omnitell, and you can put this on the table and it's just very difficult for them to remove it, and it does lock them out, or you're up against the One Ring and you just put this out and it stays out there. That's pretty good. We're doing 2 Prismatic Ending. This card is not as strong right now because a lot of decks just don't have any cheap permanents. Like Omnitell doesn't have any cheap permanents. Reanimator, Oops All Spells, there's just nothing to hit. So this is really good against Delver type cards, but we already kind of got Delver type decks covered with Endurance, which is a great blocker against them. So instead I'm playing Spell Pierce. So we can have kind of like some stack interaction and some board interaction. We've got the 3 Tamios rounding out the list. So this is 21 lands with the 22nd in the sideboard. I'm excited about the sideboard. I love Wrath of the Skies. This is very good against Urza Saga strategies. We've got the 4 Force Negation that are always in my sideboard, the 3 Hydroblast that are always there. I think Carpet is pretty strong here, especially in this deck, because you're always going to have stuff you can dump mana into in the form of URO, or maybe you have a Narset in hand, or maybe you've got some clues lying around from Tamio. Let's get those out on the table. We can support a Force of Vigor, which is very good against artifact strategies, and we can support a Lavinia. She's very good against Omnitell, Doomsday, like a lot of decks that are trying to cast stuff for free. She stops, Moxen and stuff like that. Like put this in against your 8-cast opponent and win the game, right? And then I've got Damping Sphere, which can slow down the big mana decks a little bit. I'm hoping that we can waste lock some decks in this league. We'll see. Is this as powerful as going Bug Beanstalk, which is just like a pretty efficient deck? I'm not sure. And this is definitely not as efficient as Blue-Black Tempo if you just want to like squeeze your combo player opponents. But I think that this will do okay against both tempo players and combo players. That's my hope, that this is just like a true kind of like unicorn type deck that has game against everybody, because that's the kind of deck I like to play. We're going to play a full 5 rounds as always. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against Jaja Gabor. I have no idea what this opponent's on, but this hand seems pretty reasonable. We can surveil. We have answers to pretty much everything. I'm going to keep it. I know it's a 1-lander, but if they're on combo, we win. If they're on a fair deck, We might win. If they're on a Wasteland deck, we probably lose. But you have to like stand for something, right? You're never going to mulligan to the hand that like, there's this expression in Legacy, you draw the wrong half of the deck. That is entirely possible that we've drawn. Well, we kind of drew both halves of the deck here. But the problem is we didn't draw the land half. We do have 21 lands in our deck. I'm going to trust that we're going to get some more lands. Green. Mox. Oh no, is this freaking lands? We're screwed if this is lands. Dark Depths. Okay. We do have a Plow in our hand. Rumble. Respect. I love this card. I'm not going to force it. I guess I could have pierced it, but I do want to get the Surveil here. They chose Wasteland. That's very bad for us. So we don't have any cantrips anyway. I think though we do want to chill. If they so we're well positioned if they go for Life from the Loam. Yeah, maybe I should have pierced that. I just wasn't sure what they were doing. But the fact that they have a Wasteland in hand is a big bummer. Come on, final land. All right, didn't have it. I'm going to play this out just because we know that they're going to waste. And I want to surveil and try to find another land there. I will pitch cast Endurance if it means saving us from getting wasted a second time. What I'll do is I'll probably actually pierce the Loam if they have it. Okay, they're not playing the Wasteland. That's great for us. Unless they have an Exploration. I am reading this correct. Yeah, they chose Wasteland. So I'm pretty sure they're just on like a... They may be on like a mulch type strategy. There's the Loam. So I cannot actually pierce this. Unfortunately, I'm going to force pitching Pierce. And then next turn, if I don't draw a land by miracle, I will go ahead and just Endurance them. I don't want to have to pitch cast my Endurance because it is a nice win con, but I also don't want to lose. Yeah, that spawn, I'm glad I noticed that spawn. Malevolent Rumble is the real deal. It's a good card. It's legacy playable. That is an easy graveyard here. Can we find the freaking land, the green source for the Endurance? That would be so huge. Unfortunately, we don't. Yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, I think we just have to do it. Yeah. I'm going to do it now. I'm trying to think. They could have the Surveil thing. I just don't have a window. I guess I could do it during their upkeep. Yeah, this is a true bummer. But like it is 100% the correct thing to do. You can't let your opponent loam you. Not when they have Wasteland and you have a mono non-basic mana base. If they have the cycle and they can cycle into it, it's bad for us. They don't seem to. So this resolves. The ability goes on the stack. Do you have any tricks? All right, so we are going to get one of our lands wasted. And we are still vulnerable to subsequent Loam. Otawara. They're still not playing the Wasteland. Okay, well, I'm wasting that. I'm going to plow the heck out of that. You better believe it. They're down to 3 cards. Wasteland and 2 unknown. I don't think it's correct to waste anything here. I just need my mana for, casting my spells. So we'll get rid of that. Just be mana efficient here. Best draw would probably be URO. Just get the URO party going. Tamio, yeah, she's coming out. Force is pretty much a dead card at this point. Like, Force is really bad against these land strategies. They're Presagiing our land. Just go get. I would like to get a basic, or any land that has a basic type, huh? Do we want to get a different land? I think I want to get another Trop. And then if they start ghost quartering me later, that's fine. Yeah, I don't care about white. Like, we've already cast 2 of the white spells in our 2 of the 7 white spells in our deck are already in our graveyard. So this Wasteland is important. They may choose to waste our waste rather than just wasting a redundant land, which would actually be fine with me. I don't care about this Wasteland, but it is useful in deterring their main win con, which I believe is Merit Lage. And the reason I left the basics in is if they try to loam lock me with Ghost Quarter, I can survive for a while. That's fine. And then we'll see what's in their hand. They probably have 2 lands. Wasteland and that's fine. All right, so they have 1 unknown card. I have no idea what it is. I'm kind of spooked to tap this because it could be... I'm just going to attack. I would rather just crack the clue to draw a card than... No, actually, I can keep my Wasteland up and I can just ponder to get deeper into my deck. Yeah, we're looking for an URO. But we need another land before we get URO. These are great. I'll take the Misty because it can be whatever we need it to be, and it allows us to crack the clue. Yeah, I think that's fine. I could also take the Brainstorm and just accept that I don't want to. No, I want those lands. I don't think it's that big a deal. I'm just going to take the land and I'll plan to shuffle it away, and we can get a white source this time. We can get like a Savannah maybe, or I'll probably get a Tundra just so I have blue up. No, I think actually getting the Savannah would be better because we have a lot of double green spells. We don't have any double blue spells in our deck. We just need the blue spells for... Okay. So there's a very real risk in cracking here. I think I just want to draw a card. So we have the ability to go ahead and flip Tommy and make another land drop. And I think we should. Their last card, for all we know, could be crop rotation. And if it is, that's very bad for us because they could... and that's why we need to have this Wasteland up. So I don't have a choice. I need to go ahead and fetch here. Otherwise, they could shut this off, and that really screws me. So I am going to go ahead and do this. I am going to get a Savannah here. I think I'm also going to go ahead and just waste here because they don't have anything in hand, and I don't want them to find the combo. They could name Wasteland. Now they're going to name back half of Tommy, which is okay. I do have Prismatic Ending in my deck. Okay, there's a Prismatic Ending. This is actually pretty exceptional. So I'm trying to think of what we need to worry about here. I think I want to play this Wasteland. I didn't play a land this turn, did I? Yeah, I haven't played a land yet, so I can crack a clue. And the next turn I can Prismatic End. Yeah, I'm going to just put these two cards back. I don't even want this force. She flips. Play this out. We can crack clue. We have a Wasteland again. Since they didn't name... We got lucky that we found another Wasteland, by the way. That is one of the better cards in our deck against them. I'm going to let this resolve. Hopefully this doesn't reveal a Loam or we're back to being screwed. We chose an Expedition map. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So they do have the mana to activate this, so I can't hit this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and... They're Hellbent. I feel safe in doing this. They can't play a land at instant speed with map. It just puts it in their hand. All right, there's our URO. So we draw. I don't think the top card is known. I think it's fine to just hit the Disruptor Flute and keep the URO up. That way we can start going up with Tommy. Yeah, there's no point in hitting that. They can just activate it in response. I think they're probably going to go to Urza Saga at this point, but we do have a Wasteland. All right, we will pass. Wasteland is our insurance policy. Scariest thing they could do is find Loam, as is pretty much always the case with lands decks. They're going to be able to activate here, and I'd be willing to bet, well, what could it be? They might get a Wasteland for our Wasteland, because they are going to have like some win con somewhere along the way. They got Thespian Stage. Okay. So unfortunately, Thespian Stage can copy this, so we have to waste in response to the activation, and we have to just keep this up forever, which means we can't URO. But that's fine. I'm going to try to win through Tomio Ultimate. Plus, I could play a second Tomio. It's going to automatically flip when we Ultimate. I think I'm just going to chill with Clue Crack up and Force. If they activate Thespian Stage to copy a Forest, I will go ahead and waste it. They don't. Second stage. Okay. Now we're in trouble. Because they can definitely get a... Yeah, of course they found it. All right, so here's what we have to do. We have to force. That much is clear. Actually, we're going to force and we're going to look for one of our two remaining endurances. I guess I can go ahead and just... I mean, I have a perfectly good card to pitch here. I'm still going to draw first. Okay, so this is going to force here. Pitch for Tommy. Thanks, Tommy. Thanks for being blue. They scoop? What? They scooped to that? I mean, we're still several turns away. I guess we do have like Prismatic Ending and Plow and stuff. I think that was premature. Because I had to I was still sweating it. I was like, I got to go find an answer for that. Okay. So, Force of Vigor is pretty good against the Loam deck. Wrath of the Sky is quite good against the... and when I said Loam deck, I mean the Urza Saga. I presume Urza Saga in there. We didn't see it, but we do know they have like Moxen and stuff like that. I would presume it's in there. Force Negation can come in. They do have creatures that you want to remove with Plow. Oh, we probably want to put the planes in. They do tend to go after land. Karakas can bounce the thing. I think Spell Pierce comes out. It feels pretty bad. Some number of forces can come out. I think we split 2-2. Force Negation is better because it stops Loam forever. Teferi's terrible against their deck. Let's see, is that true? Like, first of all, it's expensive to cast. Narset comes out. Narset, they never draw cards. All right, so if we pull the Narsets, we can bring the forces back in. Actually, I think Force Negation is so much better. I do think we're going to bring this. Doesn't stop the creatures. I'm keeping the plows in. Let's sort by color. We have 17, 18, plus 7, 25 blue cards. I think that's sufficient. It's not exceptional, but it's fine. Yeah, I'll keep the Tommy in. I mean, she won that one. She drew me cards that I needed. Okay, this is a growth spiral or a Planar Genesis hand. We have the endurance, double endurance. So we can stop their most degenerate thing that they can do, which is Loam. I'm going to keep this. We have a Wasteland. That's nice too. They try to turbo us once. Yavimaya. Map. All right. And these Wastelands, we just hold those. We don't fire Wastelands at Yavimayas and stuff like that. I'm going to surveil. Rumble. Put that rumble ball right into your mouth, Chopper. That is a One Piece reference. Obligatory reference to One Piece. The dreams of pirates will never die. I was alive when a rumble pack was a huge deal. So I don't think this really helps us that much. We don't need the blue card. I'm much more interested in Planar Genesis next turn. Actually, though, yeah, I think we just feed the URO. I'm tempted to play the Wasteland just... Oh, they already copied. I somehow missed them copying that. So it's already too late. The ship has already sailed. That sucks. Yeah, I mean, if they have the card, we're just going to have to be facing the 2020. Well, luckily, we do have lots of interaction in our deck. Yeah, I think what we do here is we play this out, and then we can instant speed Planar Genesis in step. Go fetch another duel, like green duel. I'll also do this if they... Yeah, but... Yeah, there's the combo. So now we're like looking explicitly for plow when we Genesis here. We could always do it a second time. All right. Do you want to do it at instant speed in response to this? So we're going to go get I want to get Trop just because I don't want to get wasted off these colors. I have another fetch. All right, let's ramp. Let's ramp it up. If I see a plow, I will stop. But otherwise, I am going to go ahead and grab it. Grab a land. Oh, I get it. So you only get to do the selection if you whiff. Interesting. Okay. I thought you could choose but like it's like if you whiff, you get to put the card in your hand. This card's less good than I thought it was. I thought it was like Malevolent Rumble, but you could do more because, I mean, why wouldn't it be? You know, it's like it costs a fortune to cast. This happens. They lose a bunch of land. They get a giant dude. So we can tread water for a couple turns with endurances. And I think we may need to. I'm kind of inclined to just waste this because then they don't have the mana to do stuff later. Yeah, we're just going to have the endurance and time walk that way. We could get lucky and find a plow and not find a land, but then we're dead because we do have to put something in front of this Merit Lage. I mean, URO treads water as well. Yeah, if we just hit this, it does restrict their options. They probably have more mana producing lands. But they may have like a lot of colorless lands, like redundant depths and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. If they have Sajiri Step, we're dead. I probably should have... No, it wouldn't have mattered. They could have... No, they didn't have the mana to activate that. Okay, so we're coming in for a hug. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do this. They don't have a land. Even if they have crop rotation, they can't crop rotate, which is nice. Let's grab Savannah. Green. Another... kind of undocumented use for endurance. I was talking about how good endurance is. You can just like, chump a Merit Lage for a few turns while you're looking for something good to do. 14 minutes on the clock. I think we'll be fine time-wise. This is probably going to be over very quickly if I don't find the card I'm looking for. Surely they have a land drop for the turn. They could go find Sajiri Step here. Oh my goodness. I don't think we can do the Planar Genesis. I'll play this out. And I'll just pass, and we're going to repeat the same turn cycle, trying to tread water. Yeah, Planar Genesis is not nearly as good as I thought it was. I thought you could look and choose if you wanted the land, but no, it has to. Yeah. Okay. So we'll waste that, I guess. All right. And if they have the crop rotation to give this protection, there's not a lot we can do here. Yep. That's what they're doing. Okay. Show me the step and we will go to the next game. Yeah. So what happened there was we saw the Planar Genesis kind of sucks. I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure it's good when you're winning. Like when you're ahead, like, oh, I can just grab another land. Growth Spiral is pretty bad when you don't have a creature, but at least it would have given us some life to survive. I'm at Lage hit. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's take a look at Growth Spiral. It's not a card I ever seriously. Oh, this is Jaja Kobor. I was joking about my opponent's name. Famous actress. Or female actor, as they're saying. Growth Spiral is an oldie but goodie. Let me see if I can get a bigger image on here. Like blow that up. There's some like Google lawsuit. Somebody sued Google. You can't make the image too big. And then people won't click through to the website. Okay, here we go. Of course, Gatherer. Scryfall is infinitely better. Okay, so draw a card. You may put a land from your hand into the battlefield. Oh, you don't gain the life. I thought it was like the full URO treatment. Yeah, that is not any better. I actually think what we're looking at is probably better because it just ensures that you're going to get a land drop. The fact that it doesn't go to your graveyard, like I think Rumble's probably the best of the three. But this pitching to blue is nice. Okay, so back to the game. I don't think we make any changes. I like having a lot of land. They are a, life from the Loam Wasteland deck. It probably has they have Boseiju. They've got a lot of stuff to go after our lands with. Wrath of the Skies. This could be insane or this could be terrible. I'm going to keep this hand. We are going to need double white to cast it. So I'm going to bait with this hedge maze. Am I going to bait? I actually think I'm just going to go grab the Tundra and play the Tamio. Yeah. I want Tamio on the table. She does draw cards. She is a broken magic card that I believe will be banned within the next year or so. Okay. That's a nice slow start. They may have crop rotation, which I will force with Prejudice. They're going to do it. Dismember. That's fine. I mean, she was a 1 mana investment. It's not that big a deal. Okay, Teferi on deck. So I think what I want to do here, what I like to do in these situations is ponder. And then I can mill away a card I don't want. In this case, Force of Will is not really what I'm looking for. But I'd love to have these other cards. So I'll take the... Is that true? Yeah, I think Teferi is going to be good here. I don't think Force is where we want to be. So I'll put the Misty on the bottom. Then the Force. Then I'll draw the Trop. Now I can just bend the Wrath. And we're just going to try to curve out and make a land drops consistently. The only card I'll force is probably crop rotation. I'd love for them to start Urza Sagging. Perfect. Just go all the way with Urza Saga. Create tons of constructs. Beat me down. Whatever you need to do. I'm going to try to go get my second white source. I will be concerned. I mean, we can just Teferi this back to their hand. I think we let this happen. This is all going to get swept up in the Wrath. They name Wasteland. Okay. So next turn, I'm going to drop the Teferi. We don't know what's on top. I think it's fine to just play the land we have. We're tapping out of Force here. Unless we draw a blue card here, which is not guaranteed. I'm going to hope that they put resources into Urza Saga. Blue card, please. All right. A very good blue card, too. Yeah, I feel like we're favored from this position. Wrath is going to be awesome. I haven't actually... Have I cast Wrath on MTGO? It's been a long time. I'm hoping that this Teferi does inspire them to just go the construct route. Okay, so here's what I think we do. We plus... And again, Teferi has done his job. His entire raison d'etre, his entire purpose here is to distract. They are going to... Urza Saga, they're going to do a bunch of stuff. We're going to have we're going to Wrath the board. So, yeah, I think we can play this land out. I'm trying to think if there's any reason. Oh, yeah. Let's play this land out. And then no reason to show that we have the Wasteland because we can't use it. So URO, we'll get deeper into our deck. Please draw another blue card. That'd be great. Stack our triggers. We did not get a new blue card. I think we put the waste out just because if they want to waste us off a color, then we can just fetch something next turn, but I don't want them to know that wasting us is ineffectual. We'll pass. So I'm hoping that they go ahead and create constructs and then that this Wrath really messes with them. They may get like a Mox Diamond and discard a card, which would be insane. If they tap out here to make another construct, we're going to be very happy because that means that they're not going to be able to crack the expedition map that they're probably going to get here. I think it's probably expedition map that they get. Wrath of the Sky is just such a good card. I hope I cast it correctly. I'm worried that I'm like not going to do it correctly. I'm going to screw it up. The first few times I cast Consign to Memory, I screwed it up, and that was oh yeah. So they don't have the mana for Lava Spur, do they? They can play a land. Perfect. This Wrath is going to be absolutely backbreaking. I love it. And then what we're probably going to do is we'll just waste the Boseiju, and I don't know if we should do that. That may be over aggressive. They are taking time off to kill my Teferi here. That is fine and respectable, and I believe correct. All right. See what we draw. We can't bring back Uro and Wrath, but we can endurance them. And we Wrath for 1. That wipes their board, including... Yeah, they may just scoop to that. They scooped pretty aggressively last game. We do have another trop in our deck that we can go get. This is the only one in our deck. We're never going to be using this again. We might as well get the energy here and use it. 1 energy. We don't need extra energy. X is currently 1. Finish. 1. Okay. That felt freaking phenomenal. Everybody needs to do that. Do that at least once in your life. It's like that whole thing, like the 10 places you should visit before you die. The 10 things you should do before you die. Wrath a lands player. Go ahead. Freaking Loam. I want you to Loam so bad. I'll probably just drop the endurance anyway because it's pressure. They have another one. Do I want to deny them? I do. They don't even get the mana. The lonely trigger on the stack with nowhere to go. You hate to see it. Let's play the world's tiniest violin. Let's pour one out for the Urza Sagas of the world. That card has given me so much grief over the years as a control player. This is fine. All right, Urza's coming back. They don't have this. They can't get us in time here. Forced negation. It's a good rip. So I think we just bring back... I'm going to play this out. I'm going to bring back Uro. Green, green, blue, blue. I have access to white if I need it. If I rip a plow. So we'll just get rid of all the non-Uro cards, or like the non-land cards, in case we find our own Life from Loam. They are almost certainly just going to go get a Karakas here. I will play this. Now we have Hardcast Endurance up. If they Karakas, it's not that big of a deal. If they can hit our guard. They can do a lot of stuff. So we don't actually, we have both Savannah and Basic Forest we've got a lot of options here if we need to cast an Endurance. I suspect they're just going to go get Karakas here. That's what I would be considering doing. Do we want to waste them back? They will just activate. I'm going to float. They're going to pass priority, and then I'll start fetching. Let's get a Savannah. Get a Trop. No basics. We're going basicless here. Does your Spidey sense tell you that I'm about to endurance you? All right. You can Karakas me all you want. I will beat you down with endurance. Actually, endurance runs right into this, so we do need to find removal. But if they tap it, we are getting for 3, which is not nothing. But we're clearing out like a lot of good stuff in their graveyard. They can just go, get these with the Reclaimer. Loam would be insane here. I'll play it out. I'm going to go ahead and attack. Now if they want to go get Karakas, they're going to take some damage. We've got Hardcast forces up. If they want to do any tricks that don't involve just, Oh, they don't have... It's actually small. I forgot. We made it too small. They can't do anything. Do we want to ponder here? If I can find a way to remove that instant speed when there we go. And a freaking Loam. Do we want to Loam first? I don't think we Loam first. I'll keep the Loam on top because I want to remove this. I'm going to wait until they activate. I'll set a stop on my end step. This will be the only time they get to do it. All right, get whatever you want. And then this thing's going to go bitey-bye. They're down to not very many permanents here. Okay, stage. Let's go ahead and plow this. All right. Yeah, that was, I guess they've done the calculation. They figured out that like Caracas is not going to save them. They need to go for Merit Lage. I have 26 life. I can race them even with Merit Lage. I don't see how they win. Okay, good games. That was fun. That was a good showing. Now that I know how Planar Genesis works, I'm kind of underwhelmed with it. I do kind of maybe wish that was Rumble, because Rumble would at least fill my graveyard. I'm not sure how powerful like ramping into a tapped land for 2 colorless mana is. Yeah, I'm going to keep playing though. Like that felt fun. It's fun. Let's put it that way. Like casting the Wrath was very satisfying. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're up against a likely 12-host player. This is a Wasteland hand. I don't think it's good enough. Yeah, mono green Cloud Post is what they've been playing a lot of. This was a few months ago. I don't keep hands like this. We need colored mana. This is a great hand. I think we can put back Narset. Yeah, I'll just put back Narset. So we don't know what they're playing. Oh, they may be playing Eldrazi, or this could be 12 post. Let's see. If they played 12 post in the past, did they play this card? The answer is yes, once upon a time. So let's just take a look at the list while we're here. Since we 2 Reclaimers. So this pre-Sowing Micah Spawn coming out, which is good. We don't have to deal with that, of course. Yeah. I think it's fine to just go ahead and stick Tomio here. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab a Tundra here. No, I'll grab a Trop. Trop is, the colors that we need. We have white off of this if we need it. If our opponent goes Elvish Reclaimer, then we can deal with that. Urza's Tower. Okay. Yeah, 12 post for sure. The card that they revealed was the Urza's Tower. Best draw would be like a Wasteland. Teferi's not terrible. Let's go ahead and come in for a hug, and then I'm going to go ahead and Planar Genesis in the end step. We'll just get some information from them before we Planar Genesis. I doubt Planar Genesis is going to be the pitch. This is an instant, though, so we can cast it in step. Okay, good. They didn't have the Planar Nexus. There are like 3 planar cards. Lots of planar cards in the new set, huh? All right, well, let's cast one of them. We get a Trop here. Comes into play. Okay, so we can Teferi here. But let's see if we can get something better. We could just double Clue Crack and Flipper. I think that's totally defensible. That allows us to keep up the force. I'm going to go like this. Clue Crack. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and crack it again. Okay, and here they're going to once. This is fine. I'm going to try to counter something that actually stops this. If they they did find Planar Nexus. Okay. So we find an URO, which can come online next turn. So I'm just going to plus here, and we'll pass. They're going to have a lot of mana, but we are going to have a Force of Will. If they Karn or something scary like that. Yeah, there's a Karn. So we're going to counter the Karn. We are going to plan to win with URO eventually. It'll be a few turns before we can get him out. Okay, they didn't have Veil or anything like that. I suspect they can't stop this. Let's see, what do they have in their deck that could stop it? They probably have Disruptor Flute. Yeah, they have 3 Disruptor Flute. That's it. I mean, again, this is an old list. Okay, Ponder's the draw. I think the first thing we do is we get Hedge Mage just to get deeper into our deck. We're almost certainly going to dump the top card just to feed URO, unless it's a Wasteland. Yeah, I'm going to bin that. I mean, I don't want to bin that, but I do think it's correct to bin that. We got to find a... I might as well hold up Ponder just in case. The other thing I could do is I could just go ahead and Ponder now. See what we find. If we find a Wasteland, that's great. If we don't, I think I just shuffle. I need to hit that Planar Nexus pretty bad. This is perfect. So I don't want the Pierce at all, but I am going to get it. So we're just going to go blue, green, URO. There is a risk that they have a crop rotation here. So we could wait till their upkeep to do this. That way at least they have to tap out a green. I'm trying to think. They could K command with the mana available. I think I'm going to go ahead and just set this. They get a lot more mana. Yeah, I think it is correct to just go ahead and do it now to potentially deny the mana. If they don't have crop rotation, and you have to think, like, would they have crop rotated away one of these cards if they had had the window to do so? I think I could just wait, and then they tap out a green, and then that ensures that they're unlikely to cast Titan. It's probably the card I'm most scared about here. Even if they get a big Kozilek's Command, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, crop rotation would be a blowout, but we kind of invited it upon ourselves when we put away that force. They do have the crop rotation, but they did tap their green here. They get another Planar Nexus. Okay, this mana burns off. They have 4 mana. They have 9 mana, or 7 mana currently. They could cast that giant dragon guy, the Ugin. Yeah, that's unfortunate. They're at 20 life too, but we are going to be able to ultimate, most likely. There's the Spell Pierce we know about that we actively do not want. It's terrible. I think I'm trying to think if there's any value. Do we have Mystic Sanctuary in our deck? We don't. I don't usually include it in these types of decks. I think it's overrated, frankly. The coming in tapped is a big deal. They may go for like a giant K command, in which case we can pierce. If we fetch, we increase the likelihood of finding another Wasteland, which could hit that. If we find Brainstorm, we can put back these 2 dead cards. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do green, green, blue, blue now. We do have one more trop in our deck that we can fetch. I believe we're playing... No, we don't. So let's think about this. Do we have an option? Yeah, we could just not... We do have another Tundra, but we don't have another trop. So I'll just pay the blue off this. URO coming back. Everything but the Wasteland. That's unfortunate. We can't do anything. We're just going to pass with both Plow and Spell Pierce up. And we have our ultimate next turn. Assuming they don't stop this with what's it called? A Disruptor Flute. Okay. They could K command to get rid of this. Oh no, what is this? Oh, pay all that mana. Oh no! Yep, they can exile those 2 cards. That's a bummer, to say the least. Okay, they're going to gain 10 life. And that's not something we can stop. It's a cast trigger. I'm going to go get the Tundra, and we're just going to plow this. We are just sitting, doing nothing here. I think we're super duper dead. We didn't get any value other than those 2 clue cracks. Not the best. We'll just pass, and we do have the ability to endurance. I don't think that's super impactful. I think we're like super dead. Just because like they had the crop rotation. Come on, get super greedy. Well, it's not going to matter. Yeah, I can kill this too. But it doesn't matter. They're going to go get Eye of Ugin, and they'll be able to search for a win con. Probably an Emrakul. Yeah, I'll just let this happen. They may name Plow. I can just pay for Plow. Wasteland. Another one. Yep. I could have pierced that. I don't think it's going to be consequential. It's probably just name some redundant thing. Force of Will. Okay. I'm going to Plow. Got to get rid of that. And I am going to put this in. I don't think there's any harm in putting all this stuff back in their deck. Let's come in for a hug. I think it's extremely unlikely that Endurance gets it done. But they are doing 3 damage to themselves this turn cycle. I was hoping they go for some giant K command, but I don't think it's going to matter. We don't have an answer to that in our deck, other than, do we have Karakas? I guess we're drawing to Karakas, but they're going to get an extra turn, so we're not really drawing to anything. We would lose all our permanents. Okay, so Damping Sphere definitely comes in. Lavinia can come in. She's not terrible at like slowing them down. She can make Karn difficult to cast, for example. I don't think Force Negation is particularly strong here. But we do have some cards we can take out. I think Prismatic Ending is not atrocious. Narset is actually an answer to their... I think we take out the Spell Pierce. It just doesn't feel good. It's a soft permission spell against a deck that could take out like a basic land. Force of Vigor could come in. I think we're probably better off with a Force Negation. This hand only has 1 mana source, but it does have Force, URO, Prismatic Ending, probably not consequential. I don't think Endurance really does anything against their deck. Maybe I could have boarded one of those out. I don't think we keep this just because if we get stalled out and we're not making land drops, it's pretty bad. Okay, this is a... Yeah, I like this hand. This is fine. So I'll put back one of the drops. And we're just going to start with a Surveil land. Start filling up our yard with these fetches. We can waste... hopefully like a... Yeah, I don't think I waste that. I think I keep teching up toward URO, which techs up toward Narset, which significantly curbs. I'm going to put that in the yard. We do have land and we don't have anything to do this turn, but I do feel like we need to put stuff in our yard for URO. Endurance is something we can eventually cast. It may be correct to go ahead and waste this because if they have another one, it denies them any tempo. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hit it. Yeah, and maybe it would have been correct to just take the Tamio there. Forest. Reclaimer. Okay. That's bad news. Damping Sphere is pretty good. We don't have anything else to do here. I think we just play it out. They can search for Boseiju, but they can only put stuff into play. They can't actually... Yeah, this is going to get Boseiju or somehow removed from play. I feel confident about that, but hopefully it distracts them for a few turn cycles. Green Sun for X equals 0. They're going to get the... Yep, that's fine. They're going to come in for 1. This is fine. Maybe we can snipe this later with Endurance. Oh, man. I'm not sure if they're going to keep attacking. If they do attack, Endurance is good. Endurance can take away the power and toughness from this. We can also just do, like, if they don't do anything, we could brainstorm. I don't know that getting URO into the yard helps us a whole lot this turn cycle. I'd rather just get Endurance out. And now we have the brainstorm into potential force if they cast something catastrophic. Okay, Planar Nexus. You know you want to attack me. There's a Karn. They're likely to attack, and I do want to take that from them. They may start blowing up our lands. We'll see what they go get. Mycosynth Lattice, okay. They choose not to attack, which is smart. All right, so I am going to go ahead and Endurance them, and then I'll attack in. Now, Mycosynth Lattice is not going to be castable for a while because of the Stamping Sphere. They would need more mana. If I find a Prismatic Ending, I can just remove this. I think it's worth brainstorming here. And then I can ponder as well. What do we not want? I don't think Force is great here. I do want the land for the land drop. Maybe I don't want the URO anymore. I mean, URO is an engine for sure. It's really good. But they can just Bojuka Bog my graveyard away. Narset could potentially dig, but we won't be able to find something in time. Maybe I do put this land back because I may want to use this land drop for a Wasteland. I don't know. I'm going to put the land back. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and ponder. Oh, I have to pay an extra mana. I didn't think about that. That does change things, doesn't it? I do have Force of Will on top of my deck right now. Maybe I do need to put it back in so I can force like sowing Mycosynth Lattice. I think I'm going to go ahead and just attack Karn. They're going to probably chump. If they let me have Karn, that's fine with me. They're letting me have him. Interesting. Okay. Oh, I think... Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and cast this to get through it, and then I can play a land, and I have Force up. So I'll put one of these back, and hold one. I'll pitch one to Force, and then I have URO next turn. Play this out. All right, we'll pass with Force up. They could have a second Karn. That would make sense why they were going for the Mycosynth Lattice here, but I will force that. I'll force pretty much anything that's big that they cast here. The One Ring... I mean, Narset technically shuts that off, but I still don't want to deal with it. Next turn, they do have Mycosynth Lattice, which is troubling. But it shouldn't matter as long as I can stop the Karn. Yeah, I think this is important enough that I force it. Okay, no Veil. That's good. Okay, take a 2 here. Okay, so we have a URO on top of the deck. I think I misstacked. I could go ahead and just throw a Narset out there and dig, see if I can find a removal spell. I do want to get rid of this. I would need to cast a removal spell during their turn. So they are going to get a chance to untap. That is the removal spell. So they can potentially give it Shroud or phase it out or doing something like that. I'm just going to chill with my Endurance up, protecting my Narset. Now, One Ring is not as powerful. But one more mana and they can Sowing Mycosynth Lattice me. Interesting. They choose not to use the Boseiju here. Okay, command. Well, they are tapped out. They create 3 spawns. I'm going to get rid of this. So Narcissus is going to lose 1 loyalty. We're drawing wild. It's not a good draw. I think we keep this around because they have to attack it twice to get rid of it. I think we go ahead and start by pondering here. See what we can find. We can take the best card. We can clear the others with Narset if we need to. These are all pretty terrible. I think we just... I mean, we're guaranteed to get a force off the top if we Narset. And that can stop, like... And then we can Planar Genesis in the end step. Oh no, I screwed up the stack. Oh, well, I'll just do it in a different order. Then I'm going to go get the Planar Genesis. I think Planar Genesis is probably more useful than that. And then I can go ahead and play this out, I guess. I guess I could Planar Genesis now. I'm going to wait. And then if we get another, if we get another turn, we could potentially even hardcast this if they don't put something on the stack that needs to be forced here. I'm going to force that. I think it has to be done. So now we're just sitting here with nothing going on. They've got tons of mana. This is not really doing a lot for us here because they're not using lands that produce multiples. Okay, there's the plow. That's not good. I'm just going to pass. Yeah, and the fact that we pitched Uro and then we had Uro in the top when we Narsetted, like, it's a pretty big beating. Okay, so now I have to plow this, but they're going to be able to go get Eye of Ugin. Yeah, this matchup is like a nightmare for us. Even though we got through the lands matchup previously, this matchup, it's just every single turn they have something you have to answer. Yeah, there's the Eye of Ugin. They're going to gain a bunch of life here. We have to find a Wasteland desperately, and even if we do, they've just got so much mana. All right. Earl wouldn't be terrible. Lavinia doesn't stop this. They can still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 1. This doesn't tap for mana. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what they can do is they can activate once. They can go get Ugin, or not Ugin, but the other guy, Kozlik, and then they can cast him and XO or Ulamog, I think is in the card. Yeah, I'm going to play her out just because she does help a little bit. But so once they get the Ulamog, there's nothing we can do because they can exile both of these, and now they have 2 additional mana. I don't regret any specific decision other than stacking my... Far behind, I'm just going to concede. Yeah, sorry, my excellent friends. I tried. I feel like that's like the nightmare matchup, and that's where you want to have cards like Harbinger of the Sea, which wouldn't have even been that great there. But when you were playing a 3-color deck, I think it's a mistake to play Harbinger. Round 3, we're up against a friend of the channel, Joyful Waffle, whom I've had on before. Joyful Waffle is a tempo player, and there's no way I'm keeping a 1-lander against a tempo player. They're likely on Rug, maybe blue-black. Right, so they've opted to keep. So being on the draw against a tempo player, having already mulliganed, not a very strong position to be in. This hand doesn't have blue. I don't feel safe keeping this. This is another hand that suffers from the same problems as the previous hands, but I don't want to mulligan it even deeper. We do have a white source. I'm going to keep this. Teferi goes back. Teferi's pretty bad against decks, the types of decks they tend to play. Spell Pierce, not particularly strong. So we'll just keep, and we're going to hope to rip a land. Like a fetch would be ideal. Our opponent may presume we're on some sort of combo deck because we mulled. Like, what control deck would mull this aggressively? Oh no, they're on freaking Reanimator? What are they on? Why would they skip their turn completely? All right, well, I'm just going to play this out. That does help us dig for a land, but I kind of want to just bin it for Uro because I'm not going to have a chance to cast it. Well, Life of the Loam. Actually, I don't have a target in my yard yet. Hands down, the best draw we can find is fetch. Here comes the reanimation effect. Yep, Gristlebrand. All right, so what I think we have to do here, sadly, is we just have to pitch cast Endurance when they try to reanimate. Yeah, generally when somebody like just does nothing, like completely skips their turn, it's because they have a reanimation effect and they want to get a fatty into their yard, which is harder to do now that, yeah, I think we just exile this Life from the Loam. Dark Writ. Do they have another like Entomb reanimate effect? That would suck. Yeah. All right. Can't get away from this deck. Even my Friends that play tempo have switched over to it. Disappointing. That was a super redundant hand. All right, I'm going to fight through this. I'm going to go ahead and plow now. Gain some life. You get to rebuild your hand. I'm not going to let you draw a force. So they seem to be like all in. They've got Spoils of the Vault, Unmask. Lots of nasty stuff over there that we're going to have to fight through. I think, in my opinion, it's always correct to go ahead and plow the Atraxa with the trigger on the stack because you don't know. They could find, something to... they could find a force, and you need to get rid of her so you can survive. They have 20 life, so they can pretty safely cast Spoils of the Vault. Okay, so the cards they took... Underground Mortuary, Reanimate, Lotus Petal, Spoils of the Vault. So they have 5-card hand, 1 unknown. They're going to go ahead and Spoils. They can find an Entomb with this. And then they have Lotus Petal Reanimate. So they may do the classic Reanimate 3 fatties in 1 turn. Definitely suck. We won! They win -3. All right. The Spoils of the Vault is not free. That does happen sometimes. I think they were going... What did they say they were going for? They wanted Entomb, so it was the 23rd card in their deck. All right. So against this deck, I think we just bring in the forces, and that's it. Cards that are less impactful. Prismatic Ending's pretty bad against them. They don't have a lot of things to target. Yeah, you can technically target the Animate Dead or something like that, but I don't think it's good. We can take out a forest. I like to pull my like non-blue basics. I'll keep the blue in just because I want to have like enough blue sources. I'll take the Loam out. Let's see, did we see... I think the odds of us like Loam locking them are so low. It is a green card for Endurance though. Maybe we keep it. Yeah, I didn't see any basics there because they're doing like the 3-color thing. So maybe they don't have the luxury of playing very many basics. Spell Pierce definitely stays in. Fairy's pretty bad, but like he does... bounce something out of play, which is not nothing if the game goes on long. Narset's pretty weak, but she does dig for force. I think I'll cut a plow. It was good there, but I don't expect them to like resolve stuff. If they resolve stuff, you probably die. We didn't see a creature juke. They could have... this is a keep. Caracas is relevant here because it like... They put a lot of resources into getting their fatty into play, and then you just Caracas it. That's not bad. They're going ahead and spoiling. I'm going to let that happen. High risk, high reward card. Chain of Smog. Okay, they're at 8. They reveal Entomb. Okay. So they do have the Chain of Smog combo in. I will force the actual Entomb. They're going to do it during our turn because they know Force Negation is a card that we play. All right. I think what we want to do here is just go ahead and... ponder. Try to find a green card. They are thinking about entombing now. They're so low that Reanimate doesn't do it anymore. Like I think most of their creatures cost 8. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. Atraxa. Atraxa is a 7-drop, unfortunately, so they would have 1 mana left. Let's go ahead and get the trop here. I'm just going to go ahead and ponder. Maximize looks for a green card. Found it. Narset's not bad to refill. We could just bin the Loam. So I think what I do is I take the land and I bin the Loam because I don't really want to cast it. Oh, wait. Oh, I needed the freaking Loam for Endurance. I'm so dumb. Any order shuffle. I need a green card. It's unlikely I'll find a green card. All right. We're almost certainly cooked here. I think I punted so bad. I was just like, oh, I don't need that. But no, I actually did need it. All right. Our hand's not terrible. This is a force. Hopefully they don't have a backup. I'm going to pitch Tommy. Do they have a second Reanimate? I'm about to give him a ton of life, unfortunately. I hope their hand is just a bunch of Spoils of the Vault. Dark Crit. They have another Reanimate. They're going to 1. I can't plow here. I can't Atraxa that back to hand, which is probably better because then they're stuck at 1 life. My goodness, I punted so hard. So hard. Apologies, my excellent friends. By the way, I know this is like a parasocial relationship. You're not really necessarily my friend unless you're like Joyful Waffle or somebody I've actually hung out with. It's just an expression from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So please don't take that as some sort of weird kind of thing where I'm trying to like manipulate you or something like that. It's just an expression from Bill and Ted. Greatest movie ever, 1980s. Entomb, Raucous Theater, Archon of Cruelty, Unmask. They are going to take their own best card, Shallow Grave, Archon. Going to gain some life here. I am going to discard this Hedge Maze. This gets to attack. I lose a ton of life. Am I dead? Not necessarily. I will discard this Endurance. I mean, does this get exiled? I think this gets exiled. Yeah. All right. I guess I get rid of Endurance. They are back up to 7 life. We are down to 7 ourselves. They get exiled. Okay. They don't have any targets in their graveyard. What was the rest of their hand? Let's see. Okay. So they took Unmask, Archon of Cruelty, Raucous Theater, Shallow Grave. So they already used the Shallow Grave. So their hand is Raucous Theater, and they took Unmask, right? And so I think it's just that Shallow Grave, Raucous Theater, Archon of Cruelty. They only got 3 cards off it, which is pretty phenomenal. All right. So let's see what we get. That's pretty phenomenal. I'm going to bounce this back to your hand. I could have definitely waited. Yeah, I probably should have waited till they attacked. Okay, Raucous Theater. Yeah, I actually have made that mistake before, and I didn't learn from my mistake. So that was dumb of me. All right. They're at 7. Reanimate is off for the time being. I'm going to brainstorm because I want to find a land. Wasteland on their green source, I think, is okay. Witherbloom can be green or black. Oh, wait. No, it's blue. It's black and green. We can start waste locking them. I think it's actually reasonable. So I'm going to put back the plow for now, where it's not something they can get. I'll put back a brainstorm on the bottom and a plow on the top. Go ahead and waste. I don't know that I've seen any red, but there may be some red in their deck too. Like that one card. Right, so we're going to loam here and we're just going to keep wasting them. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and hit this source. Just manage their mana. They can fetch. They want to. Still pretty vulnerable here. They fetch. I will never understand why people play decks like what my opponent's playing. It's just like this game is slipping away from them very quickly. They could still win though. Okay, we did force them to fetch all black, so like their non-black spells are off now. Right, so we draw a card. I will not do that yet. I want this brainstorm. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Hedge Maze here. I know that I can hardcast Force Negation, but I want to dig deeper to an URO or some sort of win con. That goes in the grave for sure. Yeah, since we already made a land drop, I'm not going to brainstorm. Okay. Okay, and Endurance is quite good. So I'll just pass. I can cast it in the end step. And then we can start beating them. I would love for them to invest in putting something in the graveyard. That's a lot of mana all of a sudden. If they have Dark Red, they could cast something scary. Let's go ahead and do it like this. We'll tuck their graveyard. I'm aware that I could have done something else, but this is a 2-turn clock. I'm not going to dredge. Okay. This is a land. I'll play it out. I'm going to come in for 3. We have double Brainstorm, Caracas, Force of Negation up. I think we're probably okay. We are at 7. We've gotten rid of a lot of their powerful stuff. They're going to Surveil again. They Surveil a Fadian. That's scary. Therapy. That's a nice dodge. They definitely don't want to be therapying at this point in the game. Good games. All right. Beat Reanimator with our 4X Endurance deck, even though I punted. Yep. See you in round 4. All right. Round 4. We are 2-1. We're up against a likely... I mean, I'm not sure what they're playing, but historically they've played Cloud Post. I like this hand, though. This is a solid freaking hand. I'm going to keep, and we have the option of surveilling once we have a little more information. This is a forced blue card hand. We have access to Brainstorm in case we need to emergency Endurance. I loved getting Teferi on the table. It's powerful in a lot of non-Bowmaster matchups. If they're on a Bowmasters, that sucks. They've played Ruby Storm as well, which Teferi is better than nothing against. So again, like I always like to do this rather than subject, because if they're not on a Wasteland deck, we'll probably know pretty quickly. Okay, could this be in Ruby Storm? No, Ruby Storm's like mono red. I'm going to go ahead and Surveil just to get deeper into the deck. There is a very real chance that they're on like Reanimator or something like that. That is the third land. I'm going to keep it. Now we have Brainstorm, Shuffle. Once we have more information on what they're doing. So I'll do that instead of pondering. Again, if they're not applying pressure, my instinct is just hold the cantrips. Brainstorm gets better the later in the game you draw it. Later in the game you cast it. Even a early Brainstorm can be extremely powerful mid-game. If they play a blue source, then we're going to be worried about deploying our Teferi into potential days. Oh, this sucks. They're probably on freaking Reanimator. Yeah, I'm going to let it happen. I mean, I like denying them information, but if they're just on like Storm or something and we just forced the Thoughtseize, I'm going to feel really bad. They did take our Force. Mox. Okay, so this is giving Storm vibes. They put Gamble under there. This is the Epic Gamble. Yeah, I'm going to let that resolve. They're probably going to take us for a spin here. They bend a Dark Writ. There's the LED. So I'm totally fine with this resolving, but I don't want the flashback spell to resolve. So I'll wait and Brainstorm. You have to have like serious chutzpah to play this deck, in my opinion. Because you're basically like, yeah, you're peeking at my hand, but I could find another Force and you'd be like hellbent with nothing going on. Let's see if we can find that other Force, or a Spell Pierce would be fine too. We've got 2 of those. All right. It's probably GG. I'm going to put back this. We don't ever want to draw that. We can shuffle that away. I'm going to put back Endurance. I don't think that... Well, actually, they're flashing this back, so it's going to disappear. So I don't really care what's in their graveyard. If anything, I want this stuff to be in their graveyard and not in their deck. So I'm going to put this back. Now, since they have no hand, we can deterministically pierce this, and this is why you play Spell Pierce in your control deck. Like, I'm playing 2 Spell Pierce, 2 Prismatic Ending, because Prismatic Ending just sucks against these types of decks. And now they have no Echo in their graveyard. They have almost nothing going on. We can Teferi bounce this to their hand, deny them mana as well. We've got tons of cantrips, which we can use later. But right now, I am game to annoy. Draw trigger. All right, you're welcome. You got a card in your hand now. Yeah, they just scoop. I think Force of Negation is a very good card, but it is very much a sideboard card. But like Spell Pierce can be good in lots of situations. I do think we probably leave the Prismatic Endings in. I'm going to take the Plows out though. So we have lots of good stuff for this. If they're on, I do think we bring in Force of Vigor. It's just 0 mana interaction. Then they are playing red spells. So we can bring in the Hydroblasts. Wrath. Okay, let's take a look at the Epic Gamble. Okay, so this is Yon who 5-0'd with it 6 days ago. So if we look, they are playing Veil. They're playing the Echoes. They have a lot of red. It's a mostly red deck. So yeah, like these Hydroblasts should be relevant. Dampening Sphere, really good against Storm type decks. Lavinia, really good against decks that have 0 drops. Wrath, they are playing 2 Urza Saga. I mean, I think it's probably worth playing Wrath. Wrath might be better than... I think Wrath costing an extra mana, though, is really cost 2 extra mana to get rid of like a defense grid. I think we're better off leaving it on the side. I know that might seem crazy, but they're only a 2x Urza Saga deck. The rest of this stuff doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, because Lotus Petal LED is just a Chrome Mox and the Mox Opal that you're really going for. So Narset's also extremely good against this deck. I think we take out all the endurances. I don't think they matter. We can just win with Urza Saga. Like we don't even need to have a win con. They'll scoop when we stop them. They've already shown us that they'll do that. Life and Loam, don't think is good enough. Yeah, they have lots of artifact mana, so I don't think that's a viable path to victory. I'll take the Forest. Now our deck is a little bit lighter on green cards, but I think it's probably okay. We have a ton of blue cards. That's the important thing. All right, this is a Force Negation hand with Teferi, Hydroblast. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to go get a glass of water while my opponent, to make my opponent think I'm really thinking hard. All right, we're going to keep. Force Negation is good because it can stop, like if they do attempt to cast for the full price, the Echo of Eons, Force Negation means they don't get a second chance at it. Please go for it. Double LED. Don't Thoughtseize me. They may have Veil, but they have to, like, if they, in order to cast it, they have to crack the LED. It's a very high risk. This is the Veil. I think if I force this, they're going to think that I have another force, which I don't actually have. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to pitch to Fairy because he's the slowest. I think they're still going to go for it, but now we'll be able to force after they wheel. They don't go for it. Okay. That's good for us. So now Lavinia is great. I think, if I want to get Lavinia out ASAP, but this is where ETB tap lands suck. We play this. We have to, and then next turn we can Lavinia if we have a next turn. Hydroblast may be good enough, but my instinct is to just ponder and try to find another force effect. So we'll go ahead and get the Tundra here is more important. Ponder. I would like to keep up that Hydro, but yeah. So this way we can. So I don't need the URO. I just want this force. So next turn we can Lavinia, which will be strong. Because we'll just draw a fetch. And this will eventually cast it out. Okay. This is great. Our opponent's got the fear, and they should have the fear. I mean, we have the card. Let's go get the Trop here, and then we can Lavinia. And then our life gets way easier. All right. Yeah, I would never play a deck like this. Like I'll play like Omnitell and stuff like that that's resilient, but having to pitch your hand as in order to have the mana to be able to cast your wheel effect that's also going to draw your opponent's 7 cards, like I can't live that life. Tony Scapone is an absolute mad lad. He is, by the way, the creator of the Epic Gamble. There's some other people that have been brewing in the margins on similar LED like wheel type of decks as well. You can have that Chromox. Are you just trying to build Storm for a Galvanic Relay? They're going for it. Well, I hate to burst your bubble. Why didn't they even go for it? Why didn't they go for it? I don't know. I don't know why they didn't go for it. Because you can't cast it. Because you can't cast it because of Lavinia. Yeah. All right. Anyway, pour one out for the poor combo players. They got Lavinia there. See you in round 5. Final round, we're up against a likely tempo player. They are a fan of the channel. Awesome. Which means they're probably very handsome and very smart, I believe is what Boston Roll says. Well, that's what he says when you Island Ponder as you're opening. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this one lander. It's a good hand, but if they're on tempo, this is not a good hand, if that makes sense. Like we could get completely destroyed here. Well, let's think about it. This is from a few months ago. We could Dare to Dream with a Tundra. This is a perfectly fine hand. These cards are good. I like the Endurance. If they switch to like Reanimator and we mulligan this, I'll feel like a fool. I am going to go for the more stable hand though. Yeah, this is way better. Way better. So I'll keep this. I don't think we need this much Planar Genesis. I am hoping to cast it once here. Yeah, I'll just do that. And then the beauty of fetches, the reason why you should play like 9 fetches if you can, I think I'm playing 9. I am playing 9. The reason you should play 9 fetches is because fetches are great at dodging Wasteland during the critical opening turns. You can just like float that out there and chill. Okay, Underground Sea. Thoughtseize. That's fine. Take a gander. I don't mind URO getting discarded. URO is extremely good against these types of strategies. If they have like a Nile Spellbound to go with the URO, with the Thoughtseize, that would be good. Prismatic Ending is just insane against Blue-Black Tempo because it's 1 mana. It's like an additional plow, basically, for their Nethergoyfs and their Tamios, and it can hit both sides of Tamio. They may take that. They took the Planar Genesis. Interesting. Well, I am going to go ahead and just Surveil here because I don't want to draw it. I like to get this down as quickly as possible. There's an argument for... yeah, I don't really want that. I want land. That's what I want. My hand is great. Narset's cool. I'm tempted to just ponder just to get out, just to do this underneath. There's a good chance they waste. This is insane. Endurance will be good later. I'm going to put it on top. We'll most likely fetch it away. I think we probably just take this Prismatic Ending. We're not going to tap out. I guess I could hide it on top just in case they have like a Cabal Therapy. I doubt that, but just in case, that would be irritating because there's a good chance they'll go after Prismatic Ending. But like drawing double Prismatic Ending and having access to so many lands is really good. Like if they waste here, it's not a big deal. Like we'll eventually find some more land, but they're not going to be able to apply pressure through Prismatic Ending unless they murk. And we can just chill and we can purge them with their graveyard. Here's that Wasteland that would have completely destroyed us. All right. So I am going to draw the Prismatic Ending, and then I will have to find some more lands, but I'm not going to play on basics. This is not a matchup where you play on basics. We're just going to try to find more land. So first things first, let's go get the Tundra, and let's get rid of this Goyf. And you just never want to take any damage from him if you can avoid it. This is also nice because it doesn't go in the graveyard, so it doesn't make the other Goyfs bigger. This is one of the big reasons to play exile-based removal. And we'll pass, and we'll just hope that they don't have 3 Wastelands in a row. That would suck. Even a second Wasteland would be pretty devastating here. Brainstorm. For what it's worth, I think this is a very favorable matchup. But we do have kind of duds in our deck. Like Spell Pierce is not really that great against them because most of the things you need to stop are creatures and not... Yeah, there's the basic island. That's not a Wasteland. Scoreboard. Land, please. Okay, Force. Not the worst. I'll just chill. We're going to get in these doldrum type periods where we don't have anything going on. I can absolutely pitch the Narset to a Force if I need to. I'm trying to think like Bowmasters might be a rationale for that. If we just want to stay alive for a little longer and buy some time, I think now would be a perfectly fine place to force the Bowmasters. And okay, well, we're probably force pitching Force because Narset is not blank cardboard against them. They do have cantrips in their deck. They have Tamiyo. They have Kaito probably. Don't really want to deal with it. They force back, I'll accept it. Yeah, they do. Okay, we'll just end this next turn. Hopefully they won't daze it. But we do need to clear this before we start going really crazy with URO. The card they pitched there was, they force pitch Force. So they're in the similar thing. Like, you don't want your forces against deck like my deck. You want forces against, Reanimator and the Epic Gamble. Decks like that. So they do have a clock. They find a Wasteland. It's really good for them. Daze is really good here because I am going to go after the Bowmasters. I'm not going to just sit around and do nothing in the face of this Bowmasters. I do want to hit it. They may have another Bowmaster to pile on. All right, we got the land. I think I'm going to go ahead and go for the Daze Protected ending. I shouldn't have fetched there. I think that was a mistake because now they could like waste me off of a color. Yeah, I should have just ended, and then if they wanted to... if we URO, we gain some life, we draw further into our deck. They'll almost certainly let it resolve. And then we could Prismatic in the subsequent turn. They could have another Bowmaster for our URO. That would actually be pretty scary. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And this way we're at least holding up mana for Tamiyo. I think there's another one coming though. If they force this, I'll be happy. But again, like fetching there was pretty catastrophically bad because I don't want to get wasted off green. That would be really bad. Our deck is very green intensive. That Planar Genesis was actually really smart that they took that because we would have used that to tech up our lands. And I think the way they win is they keep it early game. They're thinking about forcing this. That's got to be it, unless they stepped away. Yeah, there's the Force. Pitching a Merc. All right, well, I'll take it. Down to 2 cards, but they do have basically the best card ever printed against us right now, the Orcish Bowmaster. I don't think they have another Bowmaster because they probably would have just piled it on. It would have made sense to do so. Goyf. Now we have some serious pressure that we're facing. Land? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and URO here. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense to Narset. I could Narset into like a Teferi and distract them for a few turns. I don't think Narset's that big of a deal. But if I Narset, then we... Yeah, actually, if I find like a Wasteland, that's really good. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And then I can even opt to just Karakas this back to my hand. Okay. Teferi is good because he can bounce that and distract. I'm so far away from being able to bring him back. And it's possible that they... Okay. I think I'm just going to put him back in my hand. So it should give me a window here. This is on the stack. Okay, the Bowmaster trigger happens. Yeah, I'm going to put him back in my hand so I have something definitely to do next turn. I think what I'm going to do next turn is probably... I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm under a lot of pressure here. 6 damage this turn. I could have left him in my yard, and then I'd be in a good position to flash him back the second I find a green source. Maybe that was actually the correct play. I just didn't want him to like now spell bomb me. This is fine. I can bounce her unless they have a brainstorm right now. Spell Pierce is not a good draw. So options. One, we could just Narset and maybe dig for a plow. But what are we doing? We're plowing this. We're taking 3. They're going to get a swing in with that. The other option is we could Teferi. We bounce this. They get another trigger. I think we're dead if we do that. If we URO, likely not going to get where we need to go. But I think it's better. Let's see. We gain 3. We take 6, 7, 8. So we're still alive. I'm going to go ahead and URO. And I will just go like this. I'm hoping to find a land. It's going to be super tight though. Okay, I think we just lost. I don't think this is good enough. I'm going to set a stop here in the beginning combat so I can at least Caracas this back to hand. Yeah, I don't think we have any faith or any hope here. We would have to like basically URO into a plow to stand a chance. We'll let that go. Okay. Oh man, where did it all go wrong? Where did it all go wrong? That Wasteland really, and that is definitely an argument against playing these types of decks, is the fact that a single Wasteland can just hit you that hard. Green source, endurance doesn't do it. Yeah, let's just concede. We fought the good fight, but post board, does this get better for us? We can bring in our planes. I think that's good. We're gonna aggressively fetch basics here. Carpets come in. Those do address the scariest part of their deck, which is the mana denial. I think we just take out all the Wastelands. Take out the Loam. That's exactly the subs we need to make. I mean, Wrath could be really good. Wrath would have been something we'd be drawing to. We did have double white. I think we bring it in. And then what do we cut? Cut these Pierces. I could cut the Forces, but I do actually think Force is important to keep us alive. I'll just cut the Pierces. I don't think they're that great. And if we're cutting those, it may be worth keeping the endurance, the Loam in, just because it can dig us to one of these. Maybe put one Wasteland back in just to keep the dream of like waste-locking them alive. And we could cut Savannah. And we still have our basics. Yeah, I'll do that. We still have 4 white sources, so we can still use Wrath. Yeah, this is like... I'm glad we got a good round that's not just combo or ships passing in the night. I think 12 post is just like a boring deck to play against. Sorry, 12 post players. It's just not interesting. It's hard to interact with. And you basically just sit there, okay, can I waste their land? You know, there's not a lot of good decisions to be made. And like I find almost every deck I like to play is the kind of deck that just gets farmed by 12 posts. But lands is fun. And I had a good round 1. And I'm glad that we're ending with an exciting kind of tempo and control matchup. All right, this is a keep. This has got lands. It's got Planar Genesis. We keep it. So we can surveil. We can fetch basics, but I don't think that's the path. Since we have so many white sources here, like potentially, I think it's totally fine to just chill. One option we do have for momentum is we could just go ahead and Island Ponder. And then we could build out a basic mana base. We're going to be using an island for, like, Plains is the one you really don't want to grab unless you have to. Yeah, I think it's fine to do this just to get underneath it. These are insane. Absolutely insane cards. Tamio is a potential force pitch. We do have the Tamio combo here. Plow is insane. I could take the Plains last. And we could play out the Tundra and hope that they waste. Like, we're in a position where we actively hope that they waste. I think that's a good position to be in. We can't get the basic forest with our fetches. Goif. It's fine. So I think in this situation, I'm just going to go ahead and stick the Tommy. I could go ahead and brainstorm here. They're not going to be able to Fatal Push her and Bowmaster her. So I'm just going to do that. And I'm not opposed to racking up some clues. It's unlikely they're going to be able to Nether Goif and get Nether Goif big enough right now to kill Tommy so I can throw Tommy in front of another Goyf and buy a turn that way. By the way, the reason I'm tapping this is I didn't want to fetch because I have a plains on top, and I don't care about plowing this turn cycle. I'll plow next turn cycle. I didn't want to plow into potential days anyway. Like, I don't even want to cast this Brainstorm, but I'll happily cast this Brainstorm to potentially save her if they attempt to Fatal Push her here. There is a risk, though, in brainstorming here, because let's say they Fatal Push, I Brainstorm. They already have one type in their graveyard. They could just play a land, and then they could attack in and kill her because she wouldn't be able to debuff. That may be what they're considering. It's possible you just let her die if they push. There's the waste. So, yeah, they can have two types. This is fine. All right, that's fine. There's no harm in attacking me. Okay. Right. This is a window where we can flip her. I want to go ahead and attack. I do think I want to get this Brainstorm out of my hand, and I wouldn't mind putting away the Force. I don't think we're in the situation where Force is going to be necessary to survive. Double Narset. So I think we can put back a Narset for sure. We can put back Genesis. Yeah, Genesis was what I was going to pitch to Force. They have 4 cards in hand. I'm seriously considering just pitching Force and Narset, and then we can redraw the Narset if we want to. I'm trying to think of what they could do here with 2 mana. Because I have the plow up. So she's going to flip. I'm going to plus here. And then I think we just chill for a turn cycle. I don't want to fetch if I don't have to. Bowmaster would be annoying, but again, we have the plow, and next turn we have Days Protected Plow. There's nothing they can do to take us off Days Protected Plow. With Tommy down, it is possible that maybe we could even have Narset protected for a couple cycles so we could get more than one card off her. They could get these pretty big. They like Ponder and then Brainstorm or something like that. Okay. And if they do, I might have to Desperation plow one of them into a potential Daze. There's the Bowmaster. I'm not going to stop that. Was it a mistake for me to put back Force? They don't have good attacks. Okay. I think we're fine. I don't know that I need that redundant Narset. I think I am going to go ahead and Surveil here. Another redundant Narset. I don't want this. Okay, I think we're going to plus. I think I'm going to go ahead and plow Bowmaster. Just get it out of the way. Hopefully they don't have Force here. And now, I think we could go ahead and Genesis. I think that's probably better than trying to Brainstorm. Or we could just get this Brainstorm out of our hand. I think I am going to try to get the Brainstorm out of my hand. And then if I hit a Carpet, that's insane. I just like to do this when there's no Bowmaster on the table. There's a Carpet. That is insane. Indeed. It doesn't give us immediate URO, but it is very good. It does give us immediate Clue Crack if it resolves. I think we dare to dream here. I'm going to put the Brainstorm back. I don't want that. I'll put the Ponder down. If they're like Thoughtseizing us, I think Narset, it might actually be the thing we'd least want them to Thoughtseize out of our hand. Now let's go ahead and do this. This is going to get dazed, probably. It's just too insane not to daze. Okay, there, it got dazed, and I knew that was a risk. Now, actually, if they waste us, it's pretty bad because we won't necessarily have access to URO. So now they can attack for 2. They can hit Tommy for 2. Fetching. If they have another Bowmaster, that could... Okay, that's fine. Let's see what they put in their yard. Definitely looking for white exile-based removal here. She's going to take a hug. It is worth noting that it's like turn 4, and we've taken basically 0 damage, which is nice. So Tommy's taken 2 here. So our top card is not a card we want. We could Genesis through it and potentially find a land. But then the land comes into play tapped. Or we could just Narset. Narset would also distract them a little bit. But there's no way that we're going to Narset into a land. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Ponder here. I'm looking for Prismatic Ending or Plow. I don't want any of these cards. I'm going to any order shuffle. All right, Heath is great. With Heath, I am in the market for Urowing here. We're going to need one more land to get through, but this will dig us deeper into our deck. And even if they daze it, it's not the end of the world. We can even get a basic here. Yeah, I think that's great. blue, green, colorless, Uro. 13 minutes on the clock to their 15. Final land, please. Go land. We found a brainstorm. Okay, well, we're not going to be able to bring Uro back next turn. Tommy's done a great job of distracting, and I do think eventually she will die. They're brainstorming. I just have to hope they don't have land Bowmaster. That would be scary. So at this point, my aspiration is for Narset to actually hit the table, assuming they don't have a Wasteland. They've used one of their 4 Wastelands. For Narset to hit the table, and then for her and Tomio to continue to distract them while we plan our Uro escape. There's a game called Ape Escape that came out in Japan around the year like 2000, like, PlayStation 2 era, Ape Escape 2. And there's this incredibly catchy song in there, which I'm going to sing for you while we wait for Brainstorm to resolve. It goes, Sadu, Sadu, get you, Sadu, get you, Sadu, 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 get you. Saru, of course, being the Japanese word for monkey, and get you being English. Like, the monkey will get you, basically, is what they say. Sadu, Sadu, get you, Sadu, get you, Sadu, 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 get you. Yeah, it's silly, but it's incredibly catchy. Like, I've only heard the song a few times, and it's been in my head for 20 years. So that I can put it in your head. Lawnmower Man's in your head now, Jake. All right, so this is the blue, blue, green, green. I'm going to go for it. And if they want to Bowmaster me, that's cool. I'm going to have a freaking giant dude out. Green, green, blue, blue. Do you have a force of will? That is basically what you need to stop this train. No, wait. Let's not get rid of the lands. Let's get rid of everything but the land. 1, 2. I'll keep the lands in case I hit my loam. All right, we're in. And I think the game's over. Like, it'll be hard for them to catch up with this value that we're generating. We drew a force, which is nice. We've got the biggest creature on the board by a pretty big margin, and Tommy's still ticking up. They could bounce it, but we do have Daze Protective Force here, I think. And we can just redeploy with 6 cards in our graveyard. I'm just going to force this. I think this Brainstorm is fine. Like, these are bigger cards. I probably could have pitched the Planar Genesis here instead of the Brainstorm. But Brainstorm's a huge liability when you already have all your lands and stuff, because Bowmaster is just so strong. They can recur. No, they're not quite to the point where they can start recurring Nethergoyf, but they could double block. But do I actually attack here? I'm not sure that I do. It's crazy that I haven't even had a chance to crack this clue because I've just had things to do with my mana every turn. Who says you need Beanstalk? Uro is quite a good engine. Tomio is quite a good card. We're narrowing our clocks as our opponent contemplates just how rough this is going to be. Yeah, that's fine. I could just regrow Plow. I think that might actually be fine to regrow Plow and just start smashing back in. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to Narset first, see if that finds a Plow. Or, it has to be a Plow. It can't be Prismatic Ending because of the mana. So we still have 3 Plows in our deck, and then we can just regrow the Plow if we need to. But Barragoyf is one of those cards that I don't think is very good, personally. I know I say that and I lose to it all the time, but don't know that I would have done that. You do get buffing of your Nethergoyf here, right? Teferi does a pretty good job of just bouncing this out of play. Let's see if it resolves. There's a Ponder. I can Ponder and maybe find a Prismatic Ending. They can't interact with my spells anymore. I'm going to any order shuffle this. I'm looking for Prismatic Ending or Plow. Plow's good. Let's go ahead and use it. I'll just plus here. I'm going to attack. And we can just regrow next turn. This game is locked, I think. I think there's a near 0% chance that I lose this. They can attack this and kill this, but I don't really care about that. I'm hitting them really hard. I have a Prismatic Ending that I drew off Uro, which does address the Barragoyf. Teferi did a great job of just I've been underwhelmed by Narset this league. This is a matchup where I think Narset's pretty good, but it's really hard to play it. She is very vulnerable against Bowmasters. So I think if I had to do it again, maybe I'd play 0 Narsets and just play more a second Teferi and maybe a 4th Tomio just to ensure that I can, distract. By brainstorming, they have to find a land now if they want to get Barrowgoyf out. And if they don't get Barrowgoyf out, what are they doing, you know? Because I'm playing exile-based removal, they are still really... Well, they technically have another Goyf in the graveyard from blocking. Thoughtseize is fine. They'll probably take Prismatic Ending. But again, like I can just Tomio to get back my Plow or the Prismatic Ending. They've tapped out a Barrowgoyf, so I'm going to get another Smush with URO. Oh, actually, they can't kill Teferi here unless they have Bowmasters because Tomio debuffs. Fetching. Merc. That's fine. That does gain him some life. Okay, I'm going to ponder first just to see if I can find a Plow. I'm going to anywhere to shuffle this. Okay, another Tommy. We could just stand Tommy up in front of this. I think it's better to just go ahead and get back the Plow. And there's nothing they can do about this because of Teferi. Plus here, just come in for a hug. I think I can go ahead. No, I'm not going to do that. Actually, yeah, it might make sense to go ahead and just endurance them here. It's another blocker. Can't be countered. Hit their graveyard. All right, we'll pass. They're like super screwed because this Tomio just keeps going up. Like the Barrowgoyf doesn't even matter. It does get like a turn of potentially attacking. Plus here. Plus here. I will go ahead and Narset, and I'm just digging for... I guess I could do it like this, and then I can just carpet, and if I need more mana for something, just a Plow. This will prompt the concession, I believe. Game is like super over. Yeah, it's not even worth playing a carpet at this point because it does take a little bit of clock. Okay, good. All right. So we just want a repeat of that, basically. Don't see any sideboard substitutions to be made here. Let's go. And you can kind of see how futile wasting them is. They have what I like to call perfect mana. The blue-black tempo decks have like the perfect mix of fetches, duels, basics. They have a Surveil land, and then they got the 4 Wastelands. And because like pretty much, aside from Murktide, nothing even costs double blue in the deck. And I cut Murk from my blue-black. You can watch some videos. I published a couple. I'm having a great time. Just straight blue-black tempo. And not doing anything fancy at all, just playing like 4-ofs for pretty much everything, including 4-of Thoughtseize. And it's really good against combo, and it's pretty good against fair. So final game of the league here. Get hyped. Final game of the match of the league. This is a banger. I'm absolutely keeping these. I hope they don't Thoughtseize me because I want to get this carpet down. But we have access to basics. We've got tons of mana. We've got Brainstorm to fix our hand later, assuming they don't have Bowmasters. The scariest thing they could do would just be like Nethergoyf, Bowmaster, or something like that. I'm tempted to just go ahead and cast a Brainstorm turn 1 to potentially draw out the days and get under, but I think that's a mistake. If they Thoughtseize here, it'll be... We'll have to adapt. Planar Genesis has been kind of a stinker, frankly. Yeah, this is fine. I have lots of ways of dealing with both flipped and unflipped Tommy. That's pretty good. I mean, we can just do this. All right, it's in. I am going to go ahead and Brainstorm here just to get it out of my hand. I don't like sitting around with Brainstorm in my hand. Okay. We'll just put... I'm trying to think of what they could do to us here. We don't want to draw this much land. I'm going to put back this Tundra, and I'll just put back this, and we'll draw land. And I think we're in a very strong position here, having resolved this. They could borrow it out of play, which temporarily addresses it. Blue-black's not really set up to be able to fight against this, unfortunately, for blue-black tempo. Like, you just need to daze it or force it. And my opponent took a mulligan, so they didn't have access to that. I actively hope they flip her, because then, yeah, that's scary. Okay, and it's worth noting that they did get a swamp here, so we're not going to have as much mana as we want. But we do still have the mana to URO here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add blue. We go ahead and fetch immediately because I want to clear that fetch on top of my deck. And we're just going to try to build out our mana base. I'm going to go get a island here because I don't want them to perturb our mana base. Do I care? I think I could just get a trop here. Yeah, and then we're going to go ahead and feed the URO or feed the Bowmaster. There's no reason to daze or force this, I don't think. They could have surgical, which would be a bummer. I don't play if they're a fan of the channel, maybe they're on a sideboard that's more like mine with now Spellbomb. And they could do that as well. The important thing is just getting these lands out. Days is fine. All right. So we're going to take a little bit of a hug here. They actually could like maybe not play that out and deny me mana is another thing they could do, which is fine. I'm actually happy if they do that because I think that's a trap. Like you do want to be able to cast your spells. If they have Nethergoy for something like that, that would be unfortunate. Like something they could cast for 1 black mana that doesn't require playing out the second land. If they have a fetch, they could play that out and just not crack it. There's the waste. They're opting not to crack. Okay. They can do it in the upkeep. I'm not going to use the ability. I'm going to go ahead and just fetch and just URO. They don't have days this time. I'm okay with taking some damage from this and taking more damage next turn. Do we want to get a basic just in case? I mean, we could get all our basics. It would really suck if they wasted us off double green, but we can go get another trop here. I'm just going to get the basic just on principle. I'm trying not to think too much because I do have time. Okay, what is this? Another Bowmasters. That's devastating, unfortunately. Yeah, we could definitely lose the double Bowmasters. Okay, so we can fetch Surveil here. Gosh, our hand is like mono cantrips too. It's so bad. Yeah, if they just chill and just keep attacking us, we're probably going to die. I'll fetch Surveil. And then that should put the final type so I can bring back URO and at least have a blocker. But that is going to create the Orc army that's as big as URO. That is also going to take a life off my... Yeah, I think my opponent may have found the line to win. And the answer to really any control deck is just jam a bunch of Bowmasters and hope they can't deal with it. I'm not giving up though. Stock up's fine. I'm happy that they're stocking up here. I'm happy that I get the mana off this. So if we can find Plow, Prismatic Ending, we can start to chip through that. They find like a Force, that could be bad. Force blue card. I'm not sure if Forces are in against us. Days should definitely be in. And it is. Okay, we're going to take a ton. They're going to create another clue. Let's go get our Surveil. We don't have white mana, which is scary, but we do have Carpet to generate that. I just need to put a card in the graveyard here. That's a good card to put in the graveyard. I don't think we need more land. Okay. Yes, I'm going to create white mana here. I guess I could do this after this, but I'm going to go ahead and just bring him back. Green, green, blue. Bring back URO. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, like that. Okay, why did we add the white? Because we're hoping to high roll into a Plow or Prismatic Ending. Okay, we're going to take some pings here. They're going to need to Fatal Push this out of the way. Yeah, I should have probably just waited because then I could have Planar Genesis at least. Now I can't do anything. I'm just burning off this white mana, which is humiliating. I think if they attack, we probably just trade here just because like we're going to take so much damage. I think that most likely they are going to be able to Fatal Push this though or bounce it with something. We're 1 mana from death. If they actually have the additional Bowmaster, we're just dead. Another Wasteland. Draw a card. Okay. So they didn't find what they wanted off of the stock up, most likely. Fatal Push. I can't do anything about that. Yeah, I don't think there's a draw. The one draw that we could get would be Wrath of the Skies, and we don't actually have a second. Oh yeah, they have this too. So they can just hit that, and we're super duper dead. They didn't play out any additional lands, so we dropped a 1. Yeah, Wrath of the Skies is literally the only thing, and we need to also... We would need to like Planar Genesis into a white source. It's not going to do it. I am going to try to Planar Genesis here. I'll just do it twice, trying to find like not a land and a Plow. That's basically what we can do. Okay, so now we get to choose one. We could choose the URO, but that just kills us when we cast him. I mean, it doesn't technically kill us. Digs 1 card deeper. And then we take 2 damage. This gets bigger. We could Plow that. I think that has to be what we do here. None of these other cards do anything. So I'll take the URO here. So the fact that we don't draw that card actually is a little bit of help. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just, I don't want Uro to get dazed. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Green, blue, blue. And this has to find exactly Plow or Prismatic Ending. Or I guess Wrath would do it too. Good game. Yeah, well played, opponent. We lost to the multiple Bowmasters from a position of being, like, this is definitely a favorable matchup. So Bowmasters, like, don't ever count Blue-Black Tempo out. I think it's the best deck in the format. And you can watch my videos with Blue-Black Tempo and you can just see, like, even a deck that seems like it should have no trouble with Blue-Black Tempo will occasionally encounter difficulty just because Bowmaster's so strong and they can put on so much pressure so quickly. So what is my assessment of this card? We did get to see both modes of it. We got where we ramped and we got where we didn't. I don't think this is the card you want to be playing, frankly. I would probably just go back to playing Rumble. Let me show you why Rumble's good. So you could basically play this exact list and you could just put in the Rumbles in the place of those. And then you still have the green cards and you could still keep all the Endurance. Endurance was good throughout the league. I would probably try to play 4 Rumbles since we're not playing Beanstalk. You may be asking, but don't you have a lot of non-permanent stuff that's likely to get picked up? The answer is absolutely. And I would definitely cut Narset down to like maybe a 1 of or 2 of. You could actually go up Teferi. One of the things about Narset and Teferi is they do like kind of help each other in that sense. I do think 4 Uros is totally fine when your whole goal is to like rumble an Uro into your graveyard or to rumble a Life in the Loam. So we do need to make 1 cut here. I have been playing like 2 Tamios in my bigger control decks, but I think actually you probably do want to be playing 3 here. So maybe you could just cut one of the Teferis. Like Teferi does feel really bad against Planeswalker or against Bowmasters. And then Wrath seems like it's a pretty damn good card right now. I'm definitely like Force of Vigor was insane too. I think what you could do is you could just take out one of the Wastelands. Wasteland was good throughout the league though, but you could take out a Wasteland. You can bring the planes in, and then you do have your colors here. Yeah, something like that. But I would like to have a second Wrath because I think this is by far the best board wipe. You could play, what's it called? That can't be countered, Supreme Verdict. I don't know about that though. I'd probably play this. This way you've got access to all your basics. You still have the Life from the Loam Wasteland combo, and you can potentially dig to it because you're digging deeper into your deck with these Rumbles. And then you have Uro coming back. You still have the double Pierce. I think the 2 Pierce, 2 Prismatic Ending split is correct. It's not showing up here because I've got too many cards in my deck. Let me just kind of peel this over to the side. No. I'll just make these cards smaller. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I'd probably play something like this. I do think I'm going to actually record a league with it because I'm having a lot of fun. Definitely too much Narset, though, that previous league. She's really good against One Ring, though. I'll give her that. I think the marginal value of having Teferi like more than a 1 of does you do start to decrease. You can say the same thing about Uro, but again, the entire goal of Rumble is to put Uro in the yard. I think what Rumble's going to do is, first of all, it gives you a mana immediately, so it's basically like you're kind of like paying 1 green for it because you get the colorless mana back. You get the Chumper, whom you can also sack for mana. So yeah, I think I'll try this. And you might be just saying, why not just play Beanstalk? Well, I don't think Uro is particularly complementary to Beanstalk. He doesn't trigger Beanstalk. Yes, he is green, but like that's kind of where the it feels like Uro and Beanstalk are 2 totally different engines. And I do think that Bug Beans is where you want to be if you're doing Beanstalk stuff. I've tried the 4-color beans. I think it's fine, but Bug Beans is pretty simple. And I do like the permanence of being able to remove things with Prismatic Ending instead of having to use Leyline Binding, which can get like killed later and then they get back their Kaito or something like that. Earl was great. He's slower. This is a slower deck. I think the 4X Endurance, not only are they good against Graveyard and good against Tempo decks, but they do provide like kind of an alternate beatdown in case your opponent has like a Caracas of their own or a Maze of Ith or something that completely stops Uro in the tracks. So yeah, I had a really good time playing this league. I think we showcased the versatility of the deck, but Planar Genesis, not where I think we want to be. If you look at our deck, we do go down in blue cards. Let me sort by pile. we still have 24 blue cards in our deck. That's not bad. And then, of course, we bring in the Force Negation that goes all the way up to 28, and Lavinia, 29. So I think this is totally healthy. I don't really like having one of my sideboard cards be a plains if I can avoid it. I understand that there are a lot of matches where you don't want it, but I wouldn't feel comfortable going lower than 2 Wastelands. 2 Wastelands plus Loam is kind of like the traditional sweet spot that these URO control decks go for. So I think it's fine. So yeah, I'm going to try to run this, and I'll just record another league with it. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.